Hi, Jan here. Welcome back to my channel. Something a little bit different today. I'm doing a home prepper starter kit. If you look on YouTube and look for prepper starter kits, they're going to show you bug out bags and all sorts of different bits and pieces that you might need in emergency situations. But to me, being a prepper is just about having what you need to hand when you need it. And my son's just got a new home, and unfortunately he left his last one as a result of a failed relationship. So when you leave that sort of situation, you don't pack all these little bits and pieces ready for your next home. So these are just little bits and pieces that I'm giving him as a housewarming present, if you like, but I would still call it prepping. So I've got a little IKEA drawer thing that I had spare, so I thought, well, put it all in that so he knows where to look for all the bits and pieces. And number one prepping thing that you're going to need when you start a home is your batteries. So he's got some AA and AAA size batteries. So pop them in the first drawer. And I've also got him some spare light bulbs. These aren't particularly good light bulbs and they're not particularly energy efficient or anything, but if you've got a bulb gone and you need one in the downstairs loo or something like that, you just need to be able to see what you're doing. They will work in an emergency, which is what it's all about. And so there's 4 of those, and it will keep him going until he can get to the shops and get a proper light bulb. So that's drawer number 1. And still on the light theme, we have what happens if there's a power cut. So we've got some large candles. I've just put them in these little glass dishes because, as you know, you mustn't put things like this straight onto a decent surface or you're going to end up burning it. So we've got some candles there, a lighter and box of matches, and then just a whole lot of little tea light candles that he can pop around the house. And you know, they are forecasting that we're going to have power cuts in the UK next year, so if he gets caught unawares, then he's got something to start off with. So that's the emergency lighting drawer. And then, in case of illness, we've got a little, it's only a little cheap one, digital thermometer. I bought a couple of those spare in the beginning of the pandemic. And then in case of man flu, we've got some, these are just, I couldn't get the blackcurrant flavour in Lemsip brand, Beecham's brand, so I've got the Sainsbury's own maximum strength cold and flu relief, so it's as near as makes no difference, I think. So we've got those. Got some painkillers there. It does say on them what they are, so he will know what they are even though they're not in a box. Got some of these toothpick dental flossy type things, because there's nothing more annoying than having something caught in your teeth if you haven't got one. So it's always handy to have some of those around. Various different size sticking plasters. That's one of the, a couple of his, I think these were his originally. They're the old blue ones from when he was a chef. He was actually a chef in some very good restaurants for 16 years until he just had enough of it. I think chefs do have a shelf life. little nail clippers, and because occasionally he's asked if he can borrow my tweezers when he's had a splinter or something. So I don't know if you can actually see that, if I put those there. I don't know if you can see that any better anyway. But anyway, a little pair of tweezers and just a lip balm thingy, chapstick. So that's his little medical drawer. And then we've got some just ordinary clothes pegs. There's a pack of 24, so it's not going to be able to hang up a lot of washing, but it's something. And if you just suddenly need a clothes peg, I mean, occasionally I use a clothes peg to join the curtains up in the middle if I've got a big gap and there's sun shining through, but might be useful for him, might not, who knows, but better have it than not have it. That's what prepping is all about, isn't it? Well, it is in my view anyway. Better have it and not need it than need it and not have it. There's 2 reels of cotton, well, not cotton, it's a polyester thread there, a black and a white one, and that actually come with a couple of needles and a needle threader. So if he loses a button or needs an urgent repair, and then some just different size safety pin. Oh, I've got dog hair there. Some different size safety pins for an even quicker repair, and a pair of just general household scissors. I don't know if it'll fit in, they might have to go in the other drawer. Yeah, with those, oh hang on, I will fit them in. I'm just going to turn it around, and just like a game of Tetris, if you put it in the right way it'll all fit. So I've got and the next drawer is a little stationery drawer. Little notepad there. You always need a bit of paper for a shopping list or write yourself a note. I don't need to tell you what you might need a little notebook for, but a little notebook. There's half a pack of blue tack there, because that's always handy for things. I've got another one of these little dishes here, and I've got ball clips in there. Might be pink, but if you need one, it doesn't matter what colour it is. So ball clips, paper clips. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that one either. Some drawing pins or thumbtacks. Quite a few of those little bits and pieces. So just some mini little fix-it things. A stapler. And quite a few actually. I think there's four or five rows of staples there, so that should keep him going for a while. But the whole idea of this is, as soon as you use any of it, you put it on the shopping list to replace it immediately, so you're not running out. Then a little sellotape thingy, or sticky tape. As a coin bag, because sometimes they just come in very, very useful. One of the pens that has 4 different colours. So he's got red, blue, green and black on that one. And a Sharpie. This is a permanent marker. It's green, but again, if you need to to use a permanent marker, it's not really going to matter what colour it is, you just need to use it. So that's in his little stationery drawer. I was going to put some postage stamps in there, but in the UK we're changing our stamps over to stamps with barcodes, so any that don't have the barcode on won't be valid after the end of January next year, I think it is. And I've only got books of stamps that are too old, so there's no point giving him something that won't work. But I don't know when he'd ever need a stamp anyway. We don't tend to send cards and things, so when else do you need a stamp these days? Almost everything's done online, isn't it? And then the next drawer is the toolkit drawer. It's a little IKEA toolkit. That's the tray that everything goes into. And it has a hammer that also has a kind of rubber end to it. So if you're hammering something that you don't want to damage, then you can pop the rubber end on. I suppose furniture building, that's what it's designed for, but it's got the little hammer, it's got a screwdriver with multiple tips. They slot into there, and a little pair of pliers, and a little wrench. And I've had one of these kits for me for years and years, and I was talking to Neil before I started doing the video, and I was saying, you know, I mean, they're not great, but they'll work in an emergency. And he's a proper tradesman. He said, oh, I've used our one. It's a case of if it's the first one to hand, he'll use it, and it does what it's intended to do. So this normally comes in a plastic box, but as luck would have it, it will just fit into the bottom drawer. If I show you. So he knows exactly where to go if he needs one of those bits and pieces. Unlike me this morning, before I did this, I just wanted to vacuum the carpet before I put the table up to show you these bits, and the fan belt had come off the Hoover, so I'm hunting everywhere for my little screwdriver that I use for that exact purpose. I never put it away in the toolbox because I think I just keep it where it's handy, so I can just grab hold of it and do it, but I couldn't find it, it'd been moved. Story of my life. Then another little pot, and I've been putting in various different raw plugs there. I'd put in a few wingback raw plugs thinking, well, that's what modern homes use, and that's what I need for my house. I don't know if you can see that, but it turns out his house is solid walls throughout, so I don't think he's going to need those. So I shall swap out the wingback for some more of the ordinary ones, and then just a few various size screws. So I've got them, and a metal tape measure, and a Stanley knife. Are these called Stanley knife if they're not made by Stanley? I don't know what you would call these. And Neil's upstairs, so I can't ask him, but you would use it for, well, fitting carpets, although he's going to get all his carpets fitted professionally, so he won't need it for that. But you never know when you're going to need a sharp blade, and so giving him one of those. And that's his little housewarming emergency prep kit. All together in the in the IKEA drawers like that. So I hope that's going to keep him going through some sticky situations. I know when I first moved into this house, and they were new houses, so we were all in the same boat. It was most of us, it was our first home, and we were forever knocking on each other's doors and saying, well, have you got a bit of sellotape, or have you got a hammer? You know, we looked after each other. But I think established communities, that's kind of frowned on a bit. So I just wanted to put some bits and pieces together for him, and most of this I've got duplicate, well, most of that was duplicates. A couple of bits I bought from new. The light bulbs I'd bought, they were selling them off in Sainsbury's for silly money, so I bought a tray full, so I had plenty of those. Oh, hello, there's Bear. He's just come to say hello to me. And I've got my timer on, same as last time, just so that I don't overrun. Because talking about prepping and preparedness, I've been a prepper since before, well before prepping was a thing. You know, I got my first home when I was 16, and nobody taught me anything. You know, I was very spoiled as a child. You know, my parents kind of did everything for us, so when I got my first home, I didn't know how to do anything, and it was a case of, you know, baptism of fire and just learn as you go. And my husband was in the same sort of situation, you know. And when it came to certainly budgeting for a household, neither of us had a clue. So I always paid the rent first, then I paid the bills, and then what was left was the housekeeping budget. And if there was anything left out of that, then that was for treats and luxuries. But it was that housekeeping bit of the budget where I never ever wanted to run out of. Mainly it was the things that I started prepping were cleaning products, because I always thought that if I've got enough washing powder and toilet rolls and things to clean the home, then I can focus all of the money on food. So if we're having a short month, then all of that housekeeping money can go on food. So I always tended to overbuy and have a huge supply of all the, you know, bathroom toiletries and all my cleaning products, washing powders, all that sort of thing were kept in big supply. And then as the years went by, I started to bulk up on food storage, just because I don't want to run out of things. You know, I always wanted to have food here, and there have been times over recent years when Neil has suddenly found himself without a wage, where we have had literally months and months without money coming in. But we've never had to rely on charity or food banks, because I've always had my own food bank, you know, and we've been able to see ourselves through those tough times. And then more recently, when we got as far as the pandemic, when the shops absolutely ran dry of food, and, you know, there were these massive queues all around the car park and all this sort of thing, it didn't affect us because we had enough here. And because he's been brought up like that, my son has already said that he wants to have that sort of situation in his house as well. So he's got a good supply of things, especially as well because he works so incredibly hard and long hours. If he hasn't got time to go to the shops, he wants to make sure he's got it in the house. And also, if he's too tired to cook a dinner, if there's one already cooked in the freezer that he's made himself, or if I've made for him, that's so much better than going out and getting processed food, I think, because it always puts me off when you're reading down the list of ingredients on things. You know, if there's things on there you can't pronounce, you really shouldn't be eating it. So as soon as he's got a big enough freezer, then, you know, we'll start stocking up for him and make sure he's got everything that he needs. And also, because he his house is over an hour's drive away from mine. It's not going to be a case where he can just pop in and say, oh mum, have you got this, mum, have you got that? Although having said that, when he first left home and he was a chef and he was living up in Oxford, you know, occasionally he would say, oh mum, I haven't got whatever, and I'd say, all right, I'll come up. And we used to make emergency dashes up to Oxford and supply. There was one time he was really ill. He had some sort of flu, and so I went up with all the medical supplies for him, because that's what mums do, isn't it? Anyway, so that's really all I was going to show you today, is just his little emergency kit. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe and hit the reminder bell so that you'll be notified of any new content that goes on. I'm trying to upload something every week at the moment, although it's not really all the same thing. So if you're watching me because you like my car boot sale hauls, then this will be something completely different. Or my last video was about my pagan journey. That was only the very beginning of the story, so there will be more of those. So as we all are, we're lots of different aspects of our lives, so I just do a bit of everything, and I hope you find something that you enjoy. Hope you're all very well, hope you're staying warm, and I hope you've got everything in your homes that you're going to need, and please do stock up food and things to keep you warm this winter, because it's going to be a hard one. You know, it's not just the preppers saying it, now governments worldwide are saying it's going to be a hard winter. There are food shortages predicted everywhere. You know, crops are down worldwide. Make sure you've got what you need. So anyway, take care. Lots of love. Bye.